Hello everyone and welcome to Gearing a Level 60 part number 3. We're going to look at using an alt. So we have our main, or using a main to gear an alt, should we say. So we got our main character here who has a shit ton of comms that she don't need. She was capped for elite comms and had about 200 odd ultimate comms there. So what we've done is what's the wrong tab? We bought a Deceiver Duelist Mark 1 shield and some Musashi Mark 1 things here. We bought some things from the vendor. Now we can't just transfer these because they're bound, but we can get around this by having legacy gear. Now legacy gear is available quite easily in the game. I'm using the pilot suits because you get a shit ton of them. You'll see the pilot suits, I'll show you them in here. We get 4 pilot suits. I think it's 4 pilot suits for every single character that you create. So as you can imagine, I've got tons of them and they're all bound to legacy. You can see her gear is a pilot suit. Of course we use the costume designer for her. Now you don't really have to have that. That's one of the advantages of 3.2 is that put all your alts in pilot suits. Obviously certain things we can't transfer, like the weapons, the relics and the implants. So if we're transferring to an operative, get it right, I was going to say a sniper there, then we can't really do anything with this. We can't really do them because now if you get the crafted barrel then you can transfer it, but we didn't get that. So what you do is you just take your Deceiver gear, your 198 gear, pull out all the mods. Costs a bit of money, costs 12k, but we got 2.7 mil on our main, so we're going to swap them in. We're just going to ignore these level 40 mods. Now if you want a legacy bound offhand, so you can see it now becomes a 198 piece and it is now bound to legacy. It is a shield, we can't use it obviously as a scoundrel. Now if you want to get an offhand, the offhands are available on Ilum from the Gree Reputation vendor. They cost 8 Grey Helix components. This is a Grey Helix component here. You can only earn Grey Helix components. I think it has a rep requirement as well. You can only earn Grey Helix components during the Gree event. Okay, so I've got a stack here. I've got a stack in a bit, nearly 2 stacks here. Look at that. I've been farming that Rakghoul event too much, really. These are from the Rakghoul event. If you want a weapon, if you want a bound to legacy weapon, i.e. like the Grey Helix staff and the Grey Helix blaster, or you can get the Outbreak response stuff. Again, these costs Grey Helix components to get the Grey Helix ones, and the Rakghoul DNA canisters if you want an Outbreak response thing. So again, these will do just fine for you. This is a 192, well it's got 186 enhancement in it, we need to fix that. No wonder our DPS was lacking the other day. So we're going to pull, the only thing if you're doing end game gear is it has to be like for like. Because if we try to slot this armoring into a belt, it won't go, okay, because it is bound to the wrists. So the mod can go anywhere. We can put the mod in the belt if we want. There's the mod in the belt. Pull it out, just to keep everything even. So you can put mods and enhancements in any slot, but the armoring, the hilt, or the barrels have to go slot for slot. It's bound to the wrist. That's the only real thing. If you want to get legacy gear and you don't have these starfighter things, you can get them from reputation vendors. Every single daily area that was added after I think 2.3 has them. Section X, in fact it was before that, I think you can get them from 2.0 actually. McKeb had one. Section X had one added in 2.0, just get legendary rep. I think it's legendary or champion or something. Let's see if we can find one. This is hero standing, this one requires. The Gree ones require friend standing. Yeah, all the Gree ones. This is a Gree one. That one requires hero standing for the Zerka one. But any daily area, Yavin has one, Rishi has one, there's McKeb, Oricon, Zerka, CZ198, and Section X. So just go to any of those daily areas, and also the Rakghoul and Gree as well have them. If you have spare canisters or Grey Helix components, you can easily get legacy gear. but you don't have to do them. So if you were a subscriber when Starfighter launched, you get a set of freebies, essentially. Most of them just cost credits. Really, they're not really a huge expense. We just put them in our legacy cargo, or you can mail them. If you don't have a legacy cargo, just mail them to your alt. So we just throw them in there. Vendor these shells, because we don't need them anymore. Bit of a loss of money there. We have to do some dailies on her. And just going to log out. And we'll just log in to our alt. Right here, just log into the character that we want to do. And again, they should be available. So if you don't have them, you can just mail. If you don't have the legacy cargo bay, but I think you get it with every single stronghold. It comes with the stronghold, and it's only available in your stronghold. If you want the rest of the PCs, the GTN terminal, there was a cartel pack with them that came with all this stuff. Came with the mailboxes, the GTN terminal. I bought these droids in the GTN, so I'd have 2 vendors to vendor things to. I have Chem Val here as a guard. You know, guarding my stuff. Don't want anyone to take it. I get Chem, he's the bouncer. Doesn't it? So you go to your legacy cargo bay, and you can see here we have nice big upgrade. We're losing defense there. We're losing a lot of defense here because we want the absorb. We really want to be pushing 40% absorb. There you go. We're pushing to 42% absorb. That's good. Down to 21 defense, and it's pretty nice. We're doing pretty nice here, actually. So you've got a 198. We're up to 51k health. So, you know, we're good for pugging flashpoints at least. And we're just going to vendor all this Ziost stuff. We don't care about the crystal being sold because we can get it in our collections as well. That's the other thing we forgot to mention from the previous video, is that if you did unlock the crystal, you can have unlimited crystals. Where's our collection tab? It's over here. You can get it from your inventory as well, but what you do is you just scroll down to the bottom if you have the promotional ones. Go to promotional items, and you'll see here the purple serrated crystal. You can just claim a ton of them. There you go. There's a ton of them in your inventory right here. Can't vendor these obviously because it'd be an exploit, so we're just going to delete them all. So you can claim as many as you need, so don't worry about losing these crystals because they are infinite. Infinite crystals. You could have a whole cargo bay if you wanted, so we'll just get rid of all of them. Gets us even more money. See, we're up to now 42% absorb, 21 defense, which is good. Shield, we really need to get that up to about 40%. We're at 53% with Dark Ward up, which is pretty nice for us. Again, 101 absorb. It's pretty damn nice from that. Not the best, really, in terms of things that can go wrong. So we're going to put Legacy gear on when we gear him up. So you can see 66 absorb, 66 absorb. Decides just to go for the 192s. Gives us a bit more HP, gives us a bit more willpower, and a little bit more absorb. Now, the things that you cannot send via Legacy are relics, implants. We can do the barrel. What we'll do is we'll just take the hilt from this one. I'm just going to take the hilt here from the legacy bound one. It's going to cost us money every time. I know it's a DPS hilt, but it's still going to be better than the 178. Okay, it's going to be an upgrade for us. We're getting 104 endurance, 124 willpower out of that. So it's an upgrade. There you go. Now we have a 192 main hand. Now I'd probably want we want to ditch that power crystal. That's the one thing we do want to ditch, is the power crystal, and get an endurance crystal in there. I think we've got an endurance crystal. Everyone decides to load. We've got a pink power crystal. We've got a magenta outline indestructible crystal. We have a blood red indestructible crystal, or a pink black. What do we think? Pink black, something manly. Oh, we can't preview them anymore. Pink and black, nice and yeah, we'll go for that manly. It's quite manly. You know, no one's gonna see it anyway, so we'll swap that over. Again, don't care about deleting them. As you can see, we unlock it to our collections. Again, we don't care about deleting cartel crystals. And there you go, we're up to nearly 52k. We've lost a bit of damage, but again, we want to be maxing out. So there, we've got a nice pink crystal. Can you see our little... Does it have a little pink tinge to it? It does a little bit. When we do a lacerate, will it? That's got a little pinkish tinge to our sword. Yeah, can't really see it very well. Oh well. Looks manly. Just gonna take his word for it. He's got that manly pink lightsaber crystal there. So for the rest of the mod and the enhancement, we'll either get 192 vendor stuff, or we'll maybe get 190. Actually, just to get the little bit more, the 100 and what is it, 110 absorb, and we're getting 113 absorb from the 178s. But we will drop a little bit of absorb there as we get the 190 stuff. I think we'll get something with absorb in it. Probably the gloves. Goodbye. Again, just to beef it up a little bit, get that 192, because we got the 192 barrel, or hilt, should we say. We got plenty of endurance from the crystal. It's just a case of getting the absorb, the mitigation stats that we really want. So there you go, we got 51.8k. Again, we could just do the same with all of these things, but we don't really have to. We just need these two and we'll be ready for raids. We're ready to raid. Probably get a couple of augments in as well. Probably shove a couple in. The first thing to augment, obviously our best piece of gear, the piece of gear that we're not going to get rid of, is going to be the offhand, of course. So buy an augmentation kit. Not in a guild anymore, I should point out. Drodar. Game of Clones collapsed. Everyone left. Kind of sad, really. The guild disbanded. Ooh, 47k. We're not poor, so we're gonna buy. I don't know why I went to the mailbox to collect it. And we should have just went and found item mod, augment, artifact, absorption rating, level 58. We can afford it. More absorb the better. And we get a little bit more power out of it. See, if you'll notice, the tanking ones don't have endurance in them. Okay, they've got power absorb. Power is very useful for us as a tank. Helps us with threat. So we'll put it in our offhand, because again it's legacy bound. So if we ever share it between classes, probably going to have to get a legacy bound lightsaber as well, unfortunately. Just as we want to play a shadow tank. So there you go, 34 power. 52 absorb, yeah, we want it bound to us, and there we go, we're up to 43% absorb. We're getting there. 40% is about the minimum for an HM flashpoint. Probably want pushing 50, probably want at least 20% defense for pushing story mode ops. Depending on the boss for hard mode, then we want to be pushing that absorb. But again, I'd do accuracy if I was a DPS. 1 accuracy, and then it would just be their main stat. Or absorb. There you go, 153 absorb out of that. Pretty nice. 410 endurance. Ignore that. So there you go. We gained a bunch of absorb, but didn't gain any health. That's the important thing. We don't want too much health, really. We don't want to be an HP pooling tank. We want to be an absorb tank, really. And we've got our, of course, 53% shield chance. The shield chance will go up naturally because everything has shield in it, if you notice. So we don't really pay huge attention to our shield rating when we're in this one. So anyway, that is part 3. A couple of questions we got to answer from part 2. A couple of people asking what they should prioritize as stats for the Sage Healer. I will do that when 3.3 comes out. Don't see the point in doing it now because 3.3 is going to change. So next week I will spend on 3.3. And the other question was, do these buffs stack? These class buffs, do they stack? No, they don't stack. That's why you only need one per legacy. Really, that's why we haven't bothered unlocking the rest of them. We see we've got a few. I've never done all the companions for one character, unless we really like the companion. We've kind of gone for that. We went with Vet for the warrior, Jace for the Vet was for the Juggernaut, with Jace for this Marauder. Of course, we love Mako. We're gonna use Mako. We've never done any agent ones. Guess we don't like Kaleo. So you do get presence boosts, but you don't have to do them all. You just have to do 1 per legacy. So as long as you do 1 melee tank, you'll get the 1% bonus to your accuracy, and you get the 10 presence bonus to all characters that you create. That's why you don't really have to bother gearing them, so you just have tons of presence. Really. So anyway, that is all for this video. We looked at the alt gearing method. Again, we could do that and extrapolate that out and get a bunch of better gear, but unless we've got Masashi Mark II stuff, then we're not really going to do that. So there you go, use legacy gear. Eventually we'll put him in this whole set of legacy gear. Eventually we'll get him. We'll just keep the 190 stuff for now because it's pretty decent. So we are geared enough to do HM flashpoints right now. I would say we are. We've got enough absorb. We got more than 40% absorb. We've got a decent amount of HP. We still probably gonna get that main hand upgraded. That's the next one, and these two, which we can just put 186. In fact, we'll put them in 186 just before we go and do the flashpoint. So if we're gonna go do an HM flashpoint, we're gonna put them in 186, and we will do an HM flashpoint. So I think that's really it, what we covered. There's a few well, there's no other questions really. The buffs don't stack, that was one of them, and we will do a Sage healer, and we'll do a UI video as well. Someone asked for one of them on Drodar's UI. I'm just trying to find a provider where I can host the XML file so you can download Drodar's UI, so we'll do a video discussing that and why we put everything where it is later on. So thank you for joining me, and we'll see you again soon, and goodbye.